The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by HotMovies.com. Try out some ethical, paid-for porn for free with none of those hidden fees or secret subscriptions when you sign up at HotMovies.com and use the promo code MANWHORE. The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by Alt Playground. APG is more than just a place to find couples to swap with. Alt Playground is a lifestyle community for all non-monogamous and sexually adventurous people to connect and share. And you know I started a profile. Join me over at altplayground.net. That's altplayground.net. You always need new underwear, and you always love a good deal. Topic Wear is a luxurious undergarment brand that's partnered up with both myself and NBA star Serge Ibaka to leave your naughty parts soft and comfortable during this indefinite sexual off-season. Get 20% off your next order of undies with promo code MANWHORE at topicwear.com. That's code MANWHORE at topikwear.com. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to all the love addicts and sex fiends, the nymphos and pervs. This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Is Billy a sex addict? I don't know, but we're gonna find out because we've got her back. You know her, you love her. She's back for the umpteenth time. I don't even know how many times she's been on the show at this point. Andrea Allan. I am re-releasing a free bonus episode that you very likely have not heard, unless you are a Patreon member, where Andrea, my dear friend, she grills me and gives me a quiz just to determine whether or not I am a sex and love addict. So stay tuned to find out that one. I don't even really remember the questions or my answers, so this will be fun for me to listen to. But first, no show dates, people. It's quarantine. What are you talking? There are no shows. Live stand-up is kind of illegal. I don't have any shows, but I do have a story. Because Billy is, I am now one of them. I am a sinner. I am a bad man. I am a deviant. I have tapped out. I broke quarantine for sex stuff for the first time. Oh. Did anybody lose a bet on when I was going to break? Because I feel like some people felt like I would have broken much, much sooner. But yet, no. I made it 96 days being a good boy. Actually, not for nothing, I tried weeks ago to make a hot, socially distant stranger play scene happen. I had a couple ideas I posted on Reddit, didn't really get any bites. I thought they were hot. One of the ideas was to find someone and then go to some sort of abandoned parking lot or secluded location. We would line up our cars parallel, open up our doors, and then just watch each other jerk it. I thought that's responsible. We're distant. It's outdoors. Okay. The other idea was a little riskier, but highlights the hopeful resurgence of glory holes. Yes, I have seen quite a few glory hole posts since everything has gone down. Ever since the CDC said, we don't really detect this stuff in semen, people were like, okay, how can we have some airtight fucking, I don't want to say my mom's house. Let's just say a house I had access to. There's a sliding glass door to the backyard where if you're outside the sliding glass door, no one can see you, whether from other windows and rooms in the house or from the world. So I thought, someone could come around to that backyard and I could hang a curtain down from the sliding glass door, cut a little hole in it, do some bing, bang, boom. But nobody wanted to do that one either. However, I did get a bite on a fun little scene. We had a plan. And this was the plan. Okay, I was going to go up to this chick's town right outside New York City. I'd drive to a certain location and I would comfortably, sit in my car and stroke my cock. And then this stranger who I'd never seen before, never met, didn't even see pictures. The plan was for her to come by to the car, come around, open my driver's side door, see me in my current state, drop to her knees, and blow me. While I wore a mask, of course, because, we want to make this as safe as possible. By the way, I'm also not a monster. I brought a yoga mat for her knees. I'm considerate. It was executed clunkily, but was fun. Still was hot. Very good times. If I'm not going to tell you the whole story now, but if you want the play-by-play action, there is a link to the Reddit success story in the show notes of this episode. However, this did inspire me to just go on out onto the Instagram and ask you fine people, when did you break quarantine too early for some sex stuff? And by too early, I mean before me, because that's the standard. When is it too soon to fuck new people during COVID? Anytime before I do. I think that's the standard for most things in this country, it seems, as individualized as we seem to want to be. Personally, I would love it if we did something that was more for the societal good, but it's all about me. So, it's like that famous George Carlin joke where it's like, everyone who drives faster than you on the highway is a maniac, and everyone who drives slower than you is an asshole. It's kind of like that. But I did reach out and I was like, hey, folks, tell me your stories. I got some fun responses. This first one comes from V. She says, if I'm going to confess, I've actually had sex with 3 partners multiple times during quarantine. I've had sex with all of them before, and 2 are my regular partners, but 1 has a partner at home, which is why we usually meet up outside of his house. Except I have housemates, and even before quarantine, we had a strict no people over rule. V, that sounds like awfully draconian. I mean, honestly sounds like a lame house rule. I think y'all need to have a meeting, but whatever. He texted me about 3 weeks into things, said he wanted to see me. I said, we're in quarantine. Where would we go? I didn't feel safe going to a hotel, which is what we do normally when we see each other. But he said he had an indoor AC storage unit that I was welcome to come to if I was willing to meet up. Wow. So I met him at the storage unit and we fucked in a sofa chair. It was awesome. It is hard being single under quarantine and seeing all of the sexiness in the peep show and the champagne room and trying to be a good girl. So I took calculated risks, no regrets. Well, I'm sorry that all of our sexy stories in the Sexual Achievement Sunday thread or, in the chitter chatter in the peep show prevent you from maintaining some self-control. Self-control at least until Billy got his dick wet. No, good for you. Calculated risk. That's what this is about now. We can't have hard and fast rules. We can't trust human beings in this country to do something a little selfless for the greater good. So fuck it. Calculated, individualized risks. I'm sure that's going to work out just fine, right? Okay, this next one comes from Kay. She says, I've been quarantining for almost 3 months, and I broke it to have sex with my ex-girlfriend, who now thinks we're getting back together because we fucked on my back porch. That must be a very intimate back porch. Or maybe she actually owns a U-Haul. Maybe she doesn't even have to rent it. She just has it. She's ready to go. Sorry you're going to have to deal with that, but that's also what you get for breaking the rules before I do. So, good luck. Jay, she writes in. She says, one of my good friends wanted to film something for his OnlyFans. His OnlyFans? All right. By the way, guys, keep your eyes open for the Billy Procida OnlyFans coming soon. Okay, one of my good friends wanted to film something for his OnlyFans of me, him, and his girlfriend. And I knew they had been quarantining and not around anyone really, so I said, fuck it, let's do it. And, well, we had a threesome in a park and recorded it. That was a couple weeks ago, and you know what? They're the only people I've been sleeping with, so look at me kind of following rules now. And I'll be like, hey, look at you with only kind of some COVID. But sounds like some fun. Would love to see that video. And one more from, I think, another Jay. We'll call it Canadian Jay. She says, a Kiwi guy I went on a date with years ago. Things didn't really pan out at the time, but we kept matching. I assume on some kind of swiping app. We kept matching, and then we reconnected right as isolation started. We chatted a bit, had 3 virtual dates before I caved, and let him come over for some sex. The kicker is he's moving to Florida as soon as borders reopen, and I felt I had to hit it before then. Well, consider yourself a in current days, the way we're talking about them, conquistador, not a good one, not a good comparison. A conqueror, a claimer of cock. I don't know what to say that won't get me canceled, but you know what? I'm glad you had fun. Wish you had waited until after me, but good for you. But I don't know if y'all noticed that, and I had some other stories come in too, but they were all from women. Dick danglers, where are you? I know I refuse to believe you've been on your best behavior, especially when all my friends were like, yeah, dudes keep sliding into my DMs, thirsty as fuck. Where are your stories? I don't care if they're embarrassing. Shoot me an email at manwhorepod@gmail.com. I'd love to read your stories. You may even hear it on the show sometime. Send in your stories, you cowards. Folks, do you want to win some cold, hard cash and ethical free porn? Soon we're going to be launching a game show segment called Whose Porn Is It Anyway? Sponsored by our good friends over at hotmovies.com. Here's how the game is played. It's all done over the Skype stuff, you know, and no video, don't worry. I'm going to show you an edited porn movies cover where we've taken out the title. I'll give you 4 possible options of what the title is. You gotta guess it, and you win $15 cash and 15 minutes of free porn viewing at hotmovies.com for each correct answer. If you're interested in playing our game, shoot me an email at manwhorepod@gmail.com, or you can click the link to the Google Doc in the show notes of this episode. Would love to have you on board. And for Man Whore Podcast listeners, you can get 20 extra minutes on top of any package you sign up for when you use promo code MANWHORE at hotmovies.com. One more time, hotmovies.com, promo code MANWHORE. Shoot me an email if you want to play and win some cash. All right. Next point of business before we get to our guest this week, Andrea Allan. The next monthly Man Whore Munch is going to be on July 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The monthly Man Whore Munch is a monthly video group chat with fan whores from my Patreon community. It's a good time to be able to connect with other like-minded, sex-positive individuals. I think this time around we're going to be playing some Never Have I Ever. As usual, the first hour, no genitals on screen. That's kind of really the main rule. The monthly Man Whore Munch is available to all of my $7 and up members at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. It's a great way to support the podcast you love, gain access to nearly 200 bonus episodes, and connect with like-minded, sex-positive individuals like yourself in our private, Patreon-only discussion groups. So again, go support the pod that you love at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And now for the fan whore appreciation moment. Okay, and we'll really just make it a quick moment. This is the part of the podcast where I like to give a thank you to some of the members of that fan whore community on Patreon. Right now, big props to Lady Clitter. I think that's also your IG handle. Very fun. Lady Clitter, super sex positive Finland chick. So you're always... I've actually watched your stories. I like what you share. When I can read it and understand it in English... Big fan. Thanks for supporting the show. Shout out right now to Layla. If enough of you Aussies, join this thing, eventually you're going to get me to get on a fucking plane. I feel like we'll be able to crowdsource a ticket and you can get Billy on out to Melbourne or Sydney or another city that's in your area. Those are the only 2 I know, but that could be cool. Thanks for supporting, Layla. And a big thank you to Aurora Payne, who is just the littlest, kinkiest, prettiest princess out there. One last time, become a member, support the pod, connect with fellow fan whores at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. All right, now for this week's show with Andrea Allan. Oof. Okay, so again, as I said the last couple of weeks, this week and next week, I am re-releasing free bonus episodes that came out last year, exclusively on Patreon. Statistically, you probably haven't heard this one yet, but it's fucking good. It's a doozy. I was over at Andrea Allan's recording studio, and I forgot how it came up, but she insinuated that I might be, like her, a sex and love addict. She openly talks about going to SLAA meetings and whatnot. And I was like, nah. And then she's like, well, they have a quiz. I'm like, what? Like a Cosmo quiz? Like a personality test? Like, LOL, are you an addict? Gamblers Anonymous has that too. Not a fan of taking those quizzes. I usually don't win. And so she pulled it up, and there were too many questions. I think there were like 20 to 50 different questions. It was absurd. But we kind of really got into it. It was very fun. Chatting with my dear friend. Next week, we'll be re-releasing the free bonus episode with my asexual high school teacher, Laura. And then after that, then we'll begin to the Franklin Vo two-parter. Ooh, juicy. But for now, let's go take a quiz with Andrea Allan. You know, Patreon's not the only community that I love to be a part of. Alt Playground has launched their communities module, and you know that there's now a fan whore playground over there too. Yes, altplayground.net, a lifestyle resource to help you start your next non-monogamous adventure, whether it's right now during pseudo-quarantine or much, much later once we got a vaccine. Whenever you feel comfortable, Alt Playground's got you covered. Right now, you can connect virtually with other couples and singles and who knows who else. This feature provides content creators, event hosts, and others with a place to share parties, new episodes of our sex podcast, and discussion opportunities, pictures, more, all sorts of stuff. You find the community that's right for you. Yeah, you know you want to get in on the fan whore playground, but you poke around, you're going to find some other cool groups to be in. It's a nice way to get things started before the play parties really come back in full force. So check out our community. Again, it's called the Fan Whore Playground on altplayground.net. That's ALT playground.net. And we thank them for sponsoring this podcast. Now let's get to the show.
Have you ever tried to control how much sex to have or how often you would see someone? This is question number 1.
Control?
Yeah.
You were saying?
Well, for this one, like sometimes I used to, especially when I was drinking a lot, I would be like, I'm taking a 2-month break from sex because I would get in trouble and like get an STD or, or be like, oh, this is too much. I need to it's called sexual anorexia.
Okay. Yeah. Can we deal with this like in the last 5 years, can we just say?
Sure.
Because when I was in college, I definitely did, because I all of a sudden freaked out and was like, you know what? I'm not fucking on first encounters, stuff like that. So I did try to. It was more like I would average out, how often on average was I fucking someone new? Yeah. And consistently throughout college, like the number would square out to be about, since I'd started having sex, it would be about one every month or two, one new fuck person. Yeah. And for some reason, I was like slut shaming myself to think, oh no, that's bad. Mm-hmm. So I would say no, I don't control that. So okay. No, okay.
Do you find yourself unable to stop seeing a specific person even though you know that person is destructive to you? Can I answer that question for you? Yes.
Who?
You've had so many destructive partners. I can't even. I don't think I've ever met a partner of yours that doesn't seem like it's destructive.
Okay, I will acquiesce that check mark. That's one.
You're insane to say. You literally got together and broke up with an ex multiple times.
Both of them.
Yeah.
3 times each.
Yeah. So shut the fuck up.
Okay, so that's a yes. I'll keep track over here.
Okay. Do you feel you don't want anyone to know about your sexual or romantic activities? Do you feel you need the need to hide these activities from? I mean, I'm going to say no.
That's
on
that
a no. One. Yeah. I mean, like, what are we doing right now? Talking about sex. Do you get, quote, high from sex and or romance, and do you crash? Can I answer this one for you too?
I think I definitely get high from the romance, but that's new relationship energy. I think that's the core. I think that's something we all get. Is
your new relationship energy is so much crazier than other people's new relationship energy.
It used to be.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think so.
You're so wrong. Do you cry? You don't crash. You don't crash. You're not. I'm crying and drinking whiskey over a breakup, but
not over a breakup. I think that has to say that you like, oh, if you're like sad when you have a breakup, that's ridiculous.
Sure.
Everyone.
You do absolutely do this. Oh my God.
I don't think I do that anymore.
The high. Yes, you do.
I was like drinking after like a significant relationship ended. Sure.
The high is a real thing too. The
high is real, but I chalk that the NRE.
You are like, I don't want to say that I love this person after knowing them for a month, maybe a month or two, which is crazy.
I'll give you this one.
You should, because it's right. Do you have sex at inappropriate times, in inappropriate places, and or with inappropriate people?
I try to.
So yes.
I don't. No, I'm saying no because I don't think those things are inappropriate.
Here's the thing.
But like,
this is
if I'm fucking my girlfriend on a bus back to Jersey because we think it'd be fun.
Okay, I'm going to stop you here. Here's where this is confusing because I'm sex positive. Also, I think that we're very rigid and unrealistic about sex, and I think that I agree that it's a lot of it is fun and you should be experimental, but I think sometimes people who are have problems emotionally with this hide behind sex positivity to be like, oh, it's all great and fuck you for
not all of mine is great.
Yeah.
But you know, I've had the rough ones. I'm trying to think like more recently in the last like couple years.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna, you know what? I'll say yes, but I'm gonna say yes proudly because like I try to fuck in inappropriate places like a public bus. Because why not? So fine, you get a yes on that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I still don't think number 4 is a yes.
I don't want to shame. This is so crazy that you don't think this. You don't get high from sex or romance or crash. That's literally the stupidest thing.
Okay, well the wording's very okay. Number 6.
Number 6. Do you make promises to yourself or rules for yourself concerning your sexual and or romantic behavior that you find you cannot follow?
No.
Okay.
I was gonna if it had ended with just like, do you make these rules? I was gonna quit the test.
Yeah, I mean you do make rules. You make rules because you're.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so next one.
Have you had or do you have sex with someone you don't or didn't want to have sex with?
No.
Really?
Not anymore. Again, that was a college Billy. That was a right out of college Billy problem. And then it was a thing where when I started again, I've talked about this, where when I expanded what I thought sex could be, and also when I just, respected myself, when I learned I could say no to things, I was having less sex with people that I wasn't happy to have sex with. And if I didn't want to have sex with them, but I felt like I wanted to do something sexual, so I just got hit up yesterday. Mm-hmm. Woman on Random Acts of Muff Dive. I send a message. She's into it. She sends me pictures. I'm not super into it. Like, I'm like, I don't think I'm when she sent me a picture of her pussy, I was like, I am not excited to do that. Mm-hmm. And the rest of you, I'm also not excited about. And so I pitched her a counter. I said, you know what? I'm not sure how I feel about that, but you know what? Like, if you're into vibrations, I have this motor bunny. If you would like to come over and use that and I watch, that could be really fun. Mm-hmm. So that's like a thing. I'm not going to wake up the next morning and be like, oh no, I did that. No, I could be like, oh, that was a fun thing. I got to watch someone masturbate on a sex toy of mine, like fun. But if I were to go through with it and just eat her out for the sake because someone said yes, then I think that would be a problem.
Well, that's the thing. The reason why I say I learned a lot, or it was very interesting for me to observe the men in these groups, was because masculinity is so entangled. Toxic masculinity is so entangled in your ability to get laid, and so it is. I find it's very hard for men to admit, like, oh, this is a problem, because all of the culture tells them like, you're fucking killing it, you're getting hot chicks, blah blah blah, and it's very hard for them to be like, oh, I'm actually really sad and that's why I'm doing this, you know?
Yeah. I think maybe it's slut privilege, but I most learned this lesson when I realized that I was not having a difficult time getting laid. It made me less thirsty, and being less thirsty allowed me to respect my make decisions I could be proud of.
Sure.
Whereas when I was younger, there wasn't that confidence, and because there wasn't much a track record, so I was like, someone said yes to fooling around with me, I should do it because who knows if anyone ever will again.
Sure. Yeah, I think also a lot of the men in these groups too have been molested. A lot of them have.
Okay. I have not that I know of.
And I think that is something that men are so shamed. Everyone, not just particularly men, but everyone has a lot of shame around that. And it's a very hard thing to openly talk about. So it's hard. It's hard to, but a lot of the men who are molested, they're like, I would just go out and have sex all the time and not feel any better afterwards. I think it's the same thing. It's just like a burnout with it.
Right. Number 8.
Do you believe that sex and or a relationship will make your life bearable?
I don't know if anything will make my life bearable.
I'm going to answer that. Yes,
that's
for
a no.
You literally have a podcast about why people won't date you. What are you talking about?
Doesn't mean I 20 minutes ago I said, hey guys, if you're getting laid a lot, you'll still be sad.
Okay. Whatever. Say no, but I think that you think this is a yes. Have you ever felt that you had to have sex?
I mean, I felt it, but also didn't do it.
Yeah, but what about the...
When I got raped, I felt like I had to have sex because my other option was like shoving her off a bed, and if she falls off wrong, I'm going to go away in handcuffs.
Okay. I don't think you're giving me the real answers to this quiz.
I'm giving you the real answers.
Do you believe that someone can quote unquote fix you?
No. I mean, like a therapist, but not like a romantic partner.
Okay. Do you keep a list, written or otherwise, of partners you've had?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you want to know the sad part, the backstory of the list I have? Originally, it was in high school, and I kept track of all the girls I had a crush on who didn't like me back.
Oh, God.
It was just a sad, like, cut myself style list. Until eventually, like, women started making out with me, and then more did. And I don't think it was until, like, the end of senior year of high school that I took out all of the
sad ones.
Yeah, the sad stuff. I was like, no, we'll just have like a list to keep track of everyone I've done things with.
What's your number at now?
The penis and vagina number?
Yeah.
10. Just passed. The chick I'm dating right now actually was number 100. 103.
All right. Yeah. Have you lost count of the number of sexual partners you've had?
No.
And I'm not talking P and VG. I'm talking all of them.
I mean, no, because if I can pull up a spreadsheet right now and give you a number.
Okay.
Technicality, everybody. Hi.
Yeah, sure. Everyone knows that's how you get out of it. Do you feel desperate, or actually, do you feel a desperation or uneasiness when you are away from your lover? Or
wait, this is what number?
12. I skipped one by accident.
Okay.
Do you feel desperation or uneasiness when you're away from a lover or sexual partner?
No. Being honest.
Okay. This one I felt, this is the root of why I went, for this reason.
Because you were in your room throwing your phone across the room.
Yeah, well, listen, we all have problems, Billy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now 14. Do you feel desperate about your need for a lover, sexual fix, or future mate?
Yeah. Are you not going to grill me on that one? No,
because that's the correct answer. If there's anything that you are, it's desperate.
I don't like the wording.
Have you or do you have sex? Have you or do you have sex regardless of the consequences, e.g. the threat of being caught, the risk of contracting herpes, gonorrhea, AIDS, etc.?
No.
But you don't have sex regardless of the consequences?
What do you mean regardless of the consequences?
Like bad consequences, if there's bad consequences to having sex.
I mean, then we all, if we're saying like if you have sex, you could contract an STD, then we all have. If you mean like, am I raw dogging despite it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
so
I don't do that.
Okay.
Anymore.
Do you find that you have a pattern of repeating bad relationships?
Yes.
Yes.
Usually the same relationship.
God. Do you feel that your only or major value in a relationship is your ability to perform sexually or provide an emotional fix?
Can you say it again?
Do you feel that your only or major value in a relationship is your ability to perform sexually or provide an emotional fix?
What's an emotional fix? I just want to differentiate giving an emotional fix and like just being a caring partner.
Giving an emotional fix. So say, I don't know, your ex says she's going to kill herself and you respond to that.
I didn't even respond. I just called her father.
Mm-hmm.
I would say no. I called her father. I did not like end up in a big back and forth with her. I have receipts. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, so many questions. Okay.
Do you feel like a lifeless puppet unless there is someone around you with whom you can flirt? Do you feel that you're not, quote, really alive unless you are with a sexual or romantic partner?
No.
Really?
Because there are other things. I mean, look, there's an addict wise, yes, but not that. It could be other things too. There are other things where it's a food or gambling or stand up, honestly.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I do feel those things if I'm not doing any of it, but not if it's just the sex. Like I cannot be doing sex if I'm doing the other things.
Sure.
But I get anxious if I'm just still.
Whack-a-mole.
Oh yeah, no. I'm definitely into the whack-a-mole thing, but like I feel like gambling's more like one where I fucking,
yeah, gotta do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel entitled to sex?
No.
Do you find yourself in a relationship that you cannot leave?
No. Am I in a relationship now that I cannot leave?
Have you ever been in a relationship that you cannot leave?
I've always known I could leave. I just didn't want to, but we covered that in a previous question. You can't double up on these questions, SLAA. That's not fair. That's double jeopardy, and that's bullshit.
Okay.
It's not American.
Yeah, you don't seem defensive at all about these questions. Have you ever threatened your financial stability or standing in the community by pursuing a sexual partner? Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Who?
You just talked about how you got in trouble with a sexual partner who you've also gotten in trouble in sex groups for fights with partners.
Not for pursuing, it's not like not for like pursuing people. Like I've never like gone and like fucked a person like I really shouldn't have fucked, and it was like damaging to my relationship. I actually avoided there's a comedy club now owner, former manager who she was making moves on me like about 4 years ago, and I was trying to consider whether or not I should or not, because I was like, I don't know, isn't that like a not smart idea? I actually asked a couple comedy friends who are higher up. I was like, hey, I don't want to say who, but there's a booker who's been hitting on me, and I might be interested, I might not be, but it seems like a bad idea. And they were all like, yeah, don't, because then if that ever ends, you won't get spots there.
Yeah.
So no, I definitely don't do that.
All right. I mean, you have had your reputation damaged by your sexual partners,
but not because
I
pursued certain partners.
Well, but there was one partner where it was a problem, and you knew she had problems, and you went
Talking
back.
About P?
Yeah, and you dated her multiple times, and it ended up blowing up in your face.
But it wasn't like I didn't think I wasn't supposed to date her. And again, I acquiesced to a yes in like, what was it, number 2 or 4 or something.
Okay. I want to play this for every one of our friends that knows you, and they're going to be...
And they can all hear it if they pledge $5 a month or more on Patreon.
Oh my God. Do you believe that the problems in your quote-unquote love life result from not having enough of or the right kind of sex, or from continuing to remain with the quote-unquote wrong person?
What was the first, 5 words of that?
Do you believe that the problems in your love life result from not having enough of or the right kind of sex, or from continuing to remain with the wrong person? The later one, yes.
Yes, fine, yeah.
Have you ever had serious relationships threatened or destroyed because of outside sexual activity? Yes. Do you feel that life would have no meaning without a love relationship or without sex? Do you feel that you would have no identity if you were not someone's lover? Yes. Do you
See, I can answer. Like, give me a moment to think and answer.
I'll just answer for you. It's
It'll be a lot easier if you just answer them for me.
It's easier for others to see you than you to see you. And I'm talking about myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find yourself flirting or sexualizing with someone even if you don't mean to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very flirty.
Does your sexual and or romantic behavior affect your reputation? Yes.
I mean, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I very proudly say yes. That's kind of what this whole career is.
I don't know if
hinging
this means in a good way.
I know it doesn't, but the way they word it.
Okay, you'll get that one. Do you have sex and or relationships to try to deal with or escape from life's problems?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not from life's problems.
God.
So many different reasons.
What are the reasons?
Next question.
Do you feel uncomfortable about your masturbation because of the frequency of which you masturbate, the fantasies you engage in, the props you use, and or the places in which you do it?
No, although I do need to take a break from coconut oil because I think it's causing an odor.
Okay.
I had my hand down there like a couple days ago and I sniffed and my cock smells like pussy. And I had not fucked anyone in days.
Oh, because you use coconut oil as lube?
I don't know if that's the cause. I'm just gonna for a few days
Does coconut oil smell like pussy to you?
No, but I'll put it this way. My junk smelled like straight up pussy.
Okay.
And I had not had sex in days.
Okay, I haven't had sex in 6 months, just so you know.
Okay.
Do you engage in practices of voyeurism, exhibitionism? Yeah. In ways that bring you discomfort and pain?
No.
Even that time that you met someone on Craigslist and had a subway interaction that was very uncomfortable for you?
That was in 2000.
It doesn't matter when.
We said 5 years. That was 2011.
Okay.
I was 22.
Okay. That's true. I can't really. Do you find yourself needing greater and greater variety and energy in your sexual or romantic activities just to achieve the quote acceptable level of physical and emotional relief? Greater energy and greater variety.
No. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing, but okay.
Mm-hmm. Do you need to have sex or, quote, fall in love in order to feel like a, quote, real man?
I will never feel like a real man.
That's true. You aren't.
No. If I keep singing Wicked but alone in my room, I'm never going to feel like a man.
Listen, men are overrated. And soon to be extinct. Do you feel...
That's why I am officially announcing my they-them pronouns. Hi.
Oh, God, if you do that. Do you
That's
feel...
exactly what I meant.
Uh-huh.
See, did we talk about this or no? Where I was like,
yeah,
exactly. If I decided that in my heart of hearts that's what was truly for me, people would just be pissed.
I wouldn't be pissed. I would just be annoyed.
Exactly, and that's why the logic of it all is weird to me.
Do you feel that your romantic and sexual behavior is about as rewarding as hijacking a revolving door?
I thought you were going to say revolver, and I got so nervous.
Yeah. Are you jaded?
No.
That's a weird question.
Yeah.
I actually don't really understand that one. I'll say, are you jaded? Yes, I'll say that for you.
Yeah, well, what comic isn't?
Yeah, sure.
All right. 33.
Are you unable to concentrate on other areas of your life because of thoughts and feelings you are having about a person or about sex?
No.
No. Okay. That was a big one for me too. That was yes. Do you find yourself obsessing over a specific person or sexual act even though these thoughts bring pain, craving, and discomfort?
Do I think about the people?
Do you find yourself obsessing
No.
about a specific person or sexual act? You don't obsess about a person?
I don't obsess. I think I have in the past thought about exes, I think the same amount most people do after a breakup.
I think that you're wrong.
I don't think I obsess.
I think that
I'm also taking these questions
destroy your life.
I'm also taking these questions to mean as as like a trend as opposed to like something that has happened versus like a thing I do. The imperfect tense versus the preterite tense or whatever they are. So no.
I disagree with that one.
You just want me to be in your addict club, and
no, I don't. I want you to be healthy, and I think that I think that you are in denial about a lot of things. And like I don't think that I need to stop having sex forever, or I think that the reason why I started doing that and also going to ACOA is that like I can't have fun. I wasn't even having fun anymore at that point. You know what I mean? I want to be sex positive. I love like I love the world that sex positive people live in. I think it's wonderful, but my mental illness around it was making it no longer a healthy outlet for me, you know?
35?
Huh?
Number 35, I think.
Have you ever wished you could stop or control your sexual and romantic activities for a given period of time? Have you ever wished you could be less emotionally dependent?
That's not fair to pair those two together because the first one's a very clear no and the second one's an obvious yes.
Give it a yes.
That's like a half yes.
Do you find pain in your life increasing no matter what you do? Are you afraid that deep down you are unacceptable?
Yeah. What does that have to do with my sex life?
Do you feel that you lack dignity and wholeness?
I feel like the next question is just going to be, do you breathe air?
Yeah.
Yes.
To a check mark. Do you feel that your sexual and or romantic life affects your spiritual life in a negative way?
No.
Do you feel that your life is unmanageable because of your sexual and or romantic behavior and your excessive dependency needs?
No.
Have you ever thought...
No pushback on any of those? Okay.
I mean, I think you were truthful about the lack of wholeness, so I'm going to give you this one.
I mean, as a comic, I just feel like it's a given.
Well, okay. See, that's another thing, too, is when I started going to a therapist, she said, like, it's no coincidence that you are a comedian because that is one-sided intimacy, what we do on stage. Like we are exposing ourselves to a crowd of people and being like, love me, approve of me. However, there's no back and they're laughing, but there's really no back opportunity for real back and forth there. So it's a way for us to achieve intimacy without taking like real risks on a one-on-one. In a one-on-one way.
It's an art form where if there is back and forth, we're trying to get them kicked out of the club.
Yeah, totally. So it's not. It's not.
It's like, I know you're all listening right now, but do not give me that back and forth if I'm on stage. Wait till I'm off stage.
Yeah.
I don't care whatever you want to say.
But it's
no heckling.
I agree with that, but it's not, none of it's a coincidence that it's like, please love me, giant group of people, and with the selected information and persona that I present to you.
Giant group of people or 3 people at late night at 11:30 at New York.
How sad is that also?
Oh, God. Okay, final question is number 40.
Have you ever thought that there might be more you could do with your life if you were not so driven by sexual and romantic pursuits? This is a hard quiz for you, too, because you make your living in this area, but...
Can you say the last one again? I feel like at the heart of the question was, do you think you could do other things? And I'm just like, I don't know. This is like the career.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a hard question.
That's a tricky question. Say it again.
It's also weird that it's also interesting that this is your career, that your career is centered around this.
Especially if you knew me in high school, you think who's gonna fuck him? How many people are gonna fuck him? He could do that. Let's say the question.
Have you ever thought that there might be more you could do with your life if you were not so driven by sexual and romantic pursuits?
I would say no, because I'm pursuing the other things, and I'm going to continue pursuing other things, and I know I'm capable of pursuing outside things if I want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
I just don't really want to. Sex is really fun. So is this one of those games where, like, if you have a certain amount of yeses, don't tell me how many yet, but, like, is this one of those where they say, like, if you have X number of yeses,
okay, so let's see. The following questions are designed
just don't tell me the number, because I will add up.
The following questions are designed to be used as guidelines to identify possible signposts of sex and love addiction. They're not intended to provide a surefire method of diagnosis, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
So there's no like, okay, if you have like 7.
No, there's got to be. I'm going to go back.
I'm going to count in the meantime. 2 of those were like half yeses. I'm going to count them together as one.
Okay.
However, I want to rationalize.
Right. That's totally normal.
I got the number. It's probably not good. I'm probably like 2 over. That would suck. Because it would suck if I'm like just barely a sex addict. Like you're a sex addict, but you just made it. And I'll be like,
These are 40 questions. Damn it. How many do you need to?
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I got 14.
That's a pretty good number.
Like good meaning like, oh, that's a pretty good, like you're a pretty good addict. Or good as in like, I'm probably not.
The first one. That's a pretty high number. I think usually it's like 5 or more.
Ugh, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a sex addict.
I think that you could benefit. So I'll say this. So I went to SLAA and the one thing that I got out of that, which has helped a lot in ACOA, is that like, I don't think I've ever loved anyone. I don't think I've ever been in love. I don't think
Andrea, you didn't love me back then?
No.
Wow.
Did you love me?
Wow. This entire friendship based on a lie.
Well,
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
That would be so disgusting if I loved you.
Wow. So mean.
Like that.
No, keep going.
Because sex and validation were being used like a drug, I have never been really like intimate with someone. I feel too poorly about myself to really ever expose myself in a true way, like to really be intimate fully. And that comes down to a lot of other factors. But there's like, I always have like games and manipulations when it comes to sexual partners. I'm never like fully just who I am, which is sad. That's really sad.
Yeah.
I think, and that's more on a romantic level. Not really like there's one night stands where you don't need to like, it's there's different things, but all of my romantic partners, I have felt like I am trying to keep them around. I'm trying to be good enough for them or find a way where they won't leave me. And that speaks to like a sad desperation that comes from somewhere else. So ACOA is for people who have dysfunctional upbringings and like abusive parents in some sense of the word. I think when we think abusive, we think like, putting out cigarettes on people. And that's obviously the worst physical manifestation, but abuse comes in many shapes and sizes.
Many forms. Yeah.
So I started going there, and that's been really helpful and also very, I don't know. It's like, when you're like, I think it's kind of like when I finally fully understood that I was an alcoholic. I was like, oh, fuck. Now I have to like go to the root of this and like deal with it. And that's very painful and it takes a very long time.
So that's how I feel like if I were to all of a sudden realize I'm queer and I like dick, I'm like, I gotta go shopping now. I gotta change my outfit.
You wish you were queer.
Life, that's a complicated question. Or comment, statement, whatever.
Yeah.
Andrea, I, as a friend and as just a fan of your hot mess lifestyle, I look forward to seeing where it all goes. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for trying to get me to admit I'm a sex addict. Not going to happen.
Sure. Yeah, you're totally really healthy.
I'm so healthy.
Yeah.
Andrea, where can people find you?
You can follow me at Andrea Comedy on Twitter. You can follow me at Andrea_Allan88 on Instagram. Instagram is a little more fun than Twitter. And
a lot of that, the ass.
I've posted one butt pic.
Only one?
Yeah. Maybe two. But
don't you have a separate Instagram for your ass? Is that what it was?
I did, yes.
You did? Okay,
that's hot ass cold cuts. And that's my ass and snack foods.
Do you still have the Codfax account?
I never made an account for Codfax.
I need more Codfax.
We all listen. I'm glad you like that one. Not a lot of people did.
I laughed So I think more people liked it, but we didn't have time to send emails. We were too busy laughing.
Yes, good. Thank you. I appreciate that. That Codfax comes from my podcast, which is the Hot Mess Comedy Hour.
Big
Check
fan.
out. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Can I plug my hour now?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. You said something.
Well, yeah. So if you're hearing this before Saturday, the 13th?
Yes,
whatever.
Saturday
Yeah.
the 13th. Yeah. I am going to be doing my first full hour of stand-up, which is going to be fucking cool. Have you ever done an hour before?
I think the longest I did was 54 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I
But
feel
not-
like that's an hour.
I never did like a plan like, hey, you're gonna do an hour.
Right,
type thing.
right.
Not like what you're doing next year.
Next year, you're going to do that. That's
Next
great.
year.
It's really fun. It's a great, like, I'm not doing it for any, it's not like a Netflix special or anything. I just like, I feel as a comedian, I have an hour of cohesive material now, and I would like to like challenge myself to do that. So I'm really excited for that. That will be October 13th. That's a Saturday at Gutter in Brooklyn. It is a really cool venue. Daniel Simonson, another very funny and unforgettable comedian, will open for me. Emily Lubin, the co-host of the Hot Mess Comedy Hour, will host the event. It's going to be really fun. Billy will be there.
We'll be there. I might have a date.
Oh, really?
I might be bringing that woman Elle
Okay.
that I've been seeing.
Right. Fill in that hole, baby.
Will do.
So the ticket.
She fills mine.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, God.
Yeah, prostate.
Oh, God. I can't believe you guys like him. It's crazy to me that so many people, myself included.
What's up, Jeff? Hi.
Hey, Jeff. So if you would like to get tickets for that, the link is in my social media bios.
I'll put in the it should be in the show notes of this episode
Okay,
too.
cool. That's awesome. Thank you.
Fantastic.
I think it's going to be fun. So feel free to check it. Talk to me about sex addiction afterwards. Tell me that you disagree with all the answers Billy gave. We'll gossip about him. It'll be great.
Thanks. All right. Later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I demand a recount. I demand an HBO original movie about said recount. I demand that I am played by Liam Hemsworth. Look, we'll see. I don't know. I think I need to always be conscious and mindful of my relationships, why I'm in each relationship, even if that relationship is momentary and in a car outside of the Bronx with an Asian woman I've never met. I think it's good to be conscious of like the whys and my motivations, but I don't know if I'd go ahead and call myself a sex and love addict. I think, I love being in my feels. But if you feel differently, I'd love to know what you thought. You can shoot me an email with your questions, your comments, your criticisms over at manwhorepod@gmail.com. Of course, you should be following me on the social things. I'm on the Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Search Billy Procida. I pop right up. You know which one I am. And if you want to get yourself some Man Whore merch, head on over to the Man Whore Podcast Facebook fan page. I know times are tough, folks, but indie content creators are, we really, this is the time when we need the fans to come on out. I'm going to offer half off my $5 and $2 levels. You just have to email me. After you pledge, I'll refund half of the pledge tier for the rest of June, for July, for August. That offer applies to all new members because, look, I'd rather get you on board and in the ecosystem than have you waiting until the right time. Become a member today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And if you need a little assistance, please don't be shy to email me. I want you here. I want you in the community. I want you to be a fan whore. Oh, yeah. Next week, my asexual high school teacher, we're going to talk a little bit about how she makes her marriage work being asexual. And we also go back in the time machine and have some fond and not so fond memories of little Billy Procida. Take calculated risks, but make sure your calculations are right and well informed. And stay slutty.